Welcome to the Brasileiro podcast, and I know it's been a long time since I did a podcast, and it's because of technical difficulties. I lost a whole hour wrap-up special on the Confederations Cup, but let me just say my piece about that. That was a great tournament for Brazil. I was pleasantly surprised. Like I told all of you before, I didn't know how we would do, and I didn't think we had a chance to win, and I thought it would actually be more ugly than good. And wow, was I wrong. And you know what? I'm very happy to be wrong. And Philly Pound kind of proved us all wrong, because one of the big things he did for me was insert Luis Gustavo in the starting lineup, and a lot of people would say that was a dumb idea or Luis Gustavo doesn't deserve to start, but you know what? That worked. The Paulinho and Luis Gustavo midfield pairing, it isn't sexy. You're not going to get show de bola, you're not going to get great passing, but what you're going to get is a nice, good base up the spine, and you of course got Thiago Silva and Julio Cesar, who Philly Pound brought back in the team, and Julio Cesar was nothing short of outstanding, kind of a resurrection for him. Now let's get back to, and of course, like before I get off the Confederations Cup, Neymar and Fred, you know what, they proved what they needed to prove, and so much for the Brasileirão not being good for a player's career. Look at all the players. Look at the performances you got from players in the Brasileirão. Fred, he speaks for himself. You got Paulinho, who was with Corinthians. Then you got Neymar, who was with Santos. That's a pretty impressive group. And the bench is mostly made up of Brasileirão players like Joe and Bernard and Jadson. So definitely a good outing for the league as a whole. And I felt like the team got a little bit of its pride back. Now let me go to this friendly match against Switzerland in Switzerland. And I want to preface my comments with, I don't mean to sound whiny or I don't mean to make excuses. But let's be real, people. We all know this August friendly date before the European club season starts is a waste of time and it's just a money grab. And how do you expect players to come out and play with passion when they know it's just a money grab? And it's really inconvenient because they're starting their club football on Sunday. It's actually a little bit ridiculous, and it's one of the problems with FIFA in general, because international soccer is supposed to mean something. I know people like club football more now, but this is one reason why international soccer kind of gets looked down upon at times, is because of situations like this and money grabs by FIFA. FIFA is doing away with this, but you know what? The damage has been done. We've had to put up with this the last 2 years. The Spanish national team had to go to Quito, Ecuador to play. You know, like, how much do you expect these guys to travel? And of course, the Brazilian players had to go all the way across to Switzerland, and it doesn't help people like Neymar, who are battling anemia and who are supposed to start the season on Sunday, and he has to play an extra midweek game. But on to that, Switzerland got the better of Brazil. I'm not going to sit here and say they didn't. The first half, when the starters played, I thought Brazil had the better of the play. I thought we should have been able to put in a chance. Oscar wasted a few. Hulk wasted a few. Neymar was bright and active, taking people on, dribbling. I liked what we saw out of him. Marcelo was his usual combative self. You know, the incident with Lichtsteiner, I like that. It made me laugh at home. But yeah, that's something we don't really want to see in the World Cup. And then when I have to look at this game as a whole, you just felt the energy zapped out after the first half mark. But Switzerland didn't let up. They scored a goal. They did what they needed to do. And of course, Hitzfeld's team came as advertised, organized, and with enough quality in the final third with Shaqiri to make things happen. And what I want to say about Brazil in general is, don't look too much into this game. Luis Gustavo was a starter once again, and that says something about Philly Pound's mindset on that position, even though he's getting pressure from all directions to experiment. One call-up that was a little bit weird from Philly Pound was Maxwell. You know, Maxwell's into his 30s and hasn't been in a national team picture for a while. That was quite an odd call-up and almost an asinine call-up in my opinion. Julio Cesar still in there, but he needs to find a club and he needs to get games. That's something the Brazil national team is going to need to watch in the coming weeks. And I have to get to Dani Alves here. I have to get to some bad news. I I have a guy I have on the show, Miguel86. He can't stand Dani Alves. And I've always kind of accepted Dani Alves. He's not my favorite player. I like a more defensive fullback. But Dani Alves, you got to admit, he can do a good job on his day, and he has performed at Barcelona. But I don't really want him around the team anymore because this own goal was just horrible. And I just been seeing crappy performances out of him for the last 2 years, and I've been kind of wanting to see other people tested the last 2 years. So I want to see someone like Rafael tested. Phil Pell can keep his whole team the way he wants. I don't care what he does. He's earned our respect and our patience with the rest of the team to play whoever he wants. If he wants to play someone from the Series C team in there, if he thinks that'll help the team, he can do it. But all I ask is just give Rafael a chance to take the position from Dani Alves. This is the Brasileiro Podcast. Thanks for listening.